Hi everyone, Heather here with astrologywithheather.com, and I am back with another weekly forecast. This one is for Monday, February 17th, all the way through to Sunday, February 23rd of 2020. And so this week we have a lot of Pisces energy, but it's coming about in a way that's a little bit different than what we would be used to with Pisces energy, especially with all of this retrograde Mercury energy that's going on in Pisces as well. And so on Tuesday, the sun moves into the sign of Pisces, where it'll stay for an entire month. So happy birthday, Pisces. From there, we're actually going to be coming into a new moon in the sign of Pisces that'll come exact on Sunday this week. So the whole week is sort of a winding down and a culminating to this like new moon energy that's going to bring us a fresh start and new beginnings. However, with Pisces new moons, they're usually very introspective, very low key, laid back. It's more about your inner world. It's more about taking time for reflection. And that's still the case. And of course, we have Mercury retrograde involved as well. However, there's also this supercharged, really enthusiastic energy of Mars in trine with Uranus. And so this is going to be an exact energy on Friday that's going to cause us to want to jump in and change something, to do something new. However, Mercury is still in retrograde, right? And so it's kind of like an energy where we have to revisit or jump into some sort of change that we've been reflecting on that is related to a past experience or something that's coming back around full circle right now. And that's reflected in this new moon energy as well, because the new moon in the sign of Pisces is going to be really positively aspected by Uranus and Mars, which are in that trine. So they're forming this sort of little triangle where Uranus in Taurus and Mars in Capricorn are sextiling the new moon at 4 degrees Pisces. So it's like a really amped up, fiery, excitable energy amidst this like watery, Neptunian, confusing period that we're in with this Mercury retrograde. And so luckily, these are really positive aspects. And so that means they can be utilized for something really productive, for something really exciting, for something that's going to feel like a fresh start. But again, with that Mercury retrograde energy and with the new moon in a conjunction with Mercury retrograde, it's kind of like reflecting back on times past and things that maybe you were excited about, that you fantasized about, that your soul connected with, and that you felt really passionate about, but it felt like maybe the timing wasn't right, or maybe these plans and ideas and things that you were fantasizing about seemed way unrealistic, way too idealistic, and you weren't sure that you could actually carry these things out. And so this is a time to reflect back and think about your most idealistic goals and plans, the things that you really have envisioned for your future for quite some time, to revisit that, to spend some time in reflection, because the new moon is always an introspective time. It's not a time for initiating necessarily right away, but it is a time for setting those intentions, for planting those seeds for the initiation that you're going to establish in the future. And so this is a time where you have this really powerful energy, this momentum going. It's almost like taking an old project or taking an old idea or this old vision that you've had and starting it fresh in a brand new way. And so this is how you combine those energies of the old with Mercury in retrograde, this reflection, sort of fantastical energy with that Pisces new moon, with this really supercharged energy of fiery Mars, right, which rules action and willpower, in the sign of Capricorn, which is looking for the long term, right? It's not about just initiating something that is just going to happen all at once. It's not about short-term gains or short-term goals. It's about looking into the future. And with that energy of Uranus, it's something that feels new, that feels exciting, that changes your life in a way that is liberating for you, that helps to free you from the shackles of the mundane, boring experience that you're kind of getting tired of in whatever area this new moon falls. And so that's really the way that you sort of synergize all of these different components to create really solid usable intentions for this new moon. So you want these intentions to actually set something in motion, but it can't be something brand new that you've never thought of before for most people. If you are a Mercury retrograde person, this might be a little bit different. And by that, I mean somebody who has Mercury retrograde in your birth chart. But for most of us, and even for those Mercury retrograde people, it's still Mercury retrograde right now. So, reflecting back on things that you wanted to create and then finding a new, fresh way to actually make it happen can still be a great use of this energy. And so that's really what we're going to focus on for this forecast for this week. And so before we get into the forecast for all 12 signs, I do have a quick, really exciting announcement. And so, my camera's shaking now because I touched it. There we go. I do have a quick, really exciting announcement for you guys. So this weekend only, so literally only today and tomorrow, I'm having a huge sale on my webinars. I have my Ultimate Astrology Webinar Bundle, which contains all of my webinars, so including my Foundational Astrology video course, which is a self-paced, beginner's course, for 50% off. And so this is already a bundle that is 30% off for bundling it. So you get an additional 50% off. So this is a huge sale. And this is sort of like a clearance sale because I'm going to get rid of that bundle after this weekend. And it's not going to exist anymore because I'm preparing to start filling the gaps with some new webinars this year on predictive and electional astrology. And so that's what I'll be doing into the future. And if you want to just purchase one webinar, I'm having a big sale on all of my webinars, so you can get individual webinars, including my Mastering the Outer Planets series, or the individual webinars on Saturn, Uranus, Neptune, Pluto, or my most popular webinar, which is my relocation astrology webinar called The Astrology of Place, all for 30% off. The coupon codes to access these discounts are listed down in the description below, but for the Ultimate Astrology Webinar Bundle, you get 50% off using the coupon code ASTROFIX. And for the individual webinars, if you just want to take one webinar, or maybe just a couple different webinars, you can get 30% off using the coupon code ASTROFIX30. And so the links and the details for all of these webinars and all of these deals are down in the description below. All right, and so let's get into this forecast for all 12 signs, beginning with, of course, Aries. And so for Aries and for Aries rising, let me actually pull up the zodiac signs here before I do that. Okay. So for Aries and for Aries rising, so for you guys, you're going to have a new moon in the 12th house. This is more about like initiating something that wraps something up or brings it to completion. And for you, this is very much so about something that's already been set in motion. So thinking back to projects or things that you've fantasized about, letting go of or bringing to completion. This is a really exciting time for endings, right? Endings that lead to new beginnings. And so this is a really important time to bring things to a close. This could also be a really great time for you to sit back and reflect on your idealistic future or what your subconscious mind wants to create when it comes to your career and public reputation, or maybe a new work-related pursuit up there in the 12th or in the 10th house with your with Mars and the South Node transiting there. The South Node's part of this configuration too, I should mention. So it's all about the past, right? It's all about looking at past endeavors and how you can create something new out of that into the future. And that has to do for you with career and public reputation and new ways of creating and saving and utilizing your resources down in the second house of finance. All right, for Taurus and for Taurus rising, this new moon energy is happening in your 11th house, which is the house of friends and social networks. And so this is a great time to set intentions to revisit old friendships, to connect with groups of people that you've maybe lost touch with, or to start a group-related project, or to engage in some sort of altruistic pursuit, so maybe a charitable pursuit that you've been thinking about and wanting to do for quite some time. You've fantasized about it, but maybe you didn't think it was possible. Now's a time where you can go back, revisit that, and you realize that it really is possible. And this is going to change your life in a lot of ways and open up a new perspective and a new newfound just excitement about life for you. And so this will change a lot of things if you can really harness this energy. And so this is about, again, revisiting these old group associations, bringing back any sort of fantasies that you've had about forming some sort of group or organization, or doing something especially very charitable, and bringing that back around and thinking about starting it fresh in a new way. This is also a time where you can take some old knowledge or old wisdom that you've gained through your education or through your experience, and you can integrate this into your new plans for the future. And this is going to be something where it's going to feel really exciting and really liberating for you on a personal level. So this can really change your life or change your direction in life in a way that you've been sort of pondering for quite some time, but it's still going to feel really liberating and fresh and exciting, because it's like finally you can see how you can put all these pieces together, how you can find the right people, and create this new situation, this new life for yourself in the future. All right, and then for Gemini and for Gemini rising, this new moon energy is happening in your 10th house, which is the house of career and public reputation. So what have you been fantasizing about when it comes to your career? What have you been fantasizing about when it comes to your work and the way that that's all going? Are you happy with your work right now, or have you been daydreaming about finding a new job? Or have you been daydreaming about going back to an old career path that you maybe lost sight of because you needed to, feed your children or pay your bills or whatever? Thinking back to what you fantasized about even as a kid, right? Thinking, what did you want to be? What did you aspire to? That can really help you to bring this energy back around and to create something fresh out of it. And so now is a really great opportunity, especially if you're diving into those subconscious realms, because this is going to be that energy with Uranus and Mars in Taurus and in Capricorn, that it's going to actually be in your 8th and in your 12th house, which are very hidden subconscious houses. And so there's been some internalized rebellion that's been waiting to be expressed with Uranus in the 12th house, where it's like you want to just completely change what it is that you're doing, or rebel against your current circumstances, especially related to your career path or your work or your relationship with people in positions of power and authority. And if you've been fantasizing about this, now's the time to create a plan, right? To think about how you can take action, to visualize what this will look like into your future. And I think that you can be pretty successful with that. All right, and then for Cancer rising, this new moon in the sign of Pisces is happening in your 9th house, which is the house of foreign travel. It's the house of higher education. It's the house of teaching and publishing. And so thinking back to maybe there's a trip that you've been fantasizing about and dreaming about for like many, many years even. And this energy is coming back around and you're thinking about how you can make this happen. This would be a great time to think back to maybe some sort of energy around going on some sort of group retreat, or taking a vacation that's really exciting and reignites your passions and excitement with somebody who you're romantically involved with, or just going on like a spontaneous sort of getaway with a group of friends or people that you surround yourself with by choice. You'll probably make a lot of really exciting new connections in the process. And so if that's your goal, then this is a great time to think about that. But what have you been fantasizing about in those areas? Also, have you been fantasizing about a new learning pursuit? Maybe you've been wanting to go back to school or to study some form of higher wisdom, or to connect with a really powerful teacher or somebody who can guide you in a new direction when it comes to your knowledge and your experience in some area. Now is a great time to do that, or to think about taking a new group related course. Or if you've been really wanting to put your ideas out there and you've been fantasizing about how it could happen and how your knowledge and your understanding can reach so many people, now is a time where you can revisit that energy and you can feel really excited and amped up to actually start something and do something with this. All right, and for Leo rising, this new moon is happening in your 8th house, which is a house that can be perceived as a little bit more difficult because it deals with challenging topics. It deals with pretty much all the things in life that that we perceive as taking our power away from us. So, things like fear, anxiety, past trauma, past experiences. And so with this new moon, this is a fresh start where you can revisit some of your past fears, some of your past experiences in a way that brings strength and empowerment. And so this is a time where if you have any deep-seated fears or anxieties that are especially preventing you from moving forward with your work-related and career-related goals and plans, or that are preventing you from healing from the inside out, so you can actually get some physical healing and so you can, on a physiological level, feel better. Now's a time where you can release those blockages, where you can heal any underlying traumas that have been sitting there, where maybe you've been fantasizing about breaking free. Maybe you've been fantasizing about breaking free from an actual physical control mechanism. Maybe you have a lot of debt and you've been wanting to break free from this debt so that way you can move into something new, maybe a new career path that you've been holding off on because you feel like you can't afford to make the change. Now's a time where you can envision what you need to do and you can actually make it happen in order to create that new experience for yourself into the future. This is also a time where there could be changes that come about with your partner's resources that free up some energy so you can pursue your passions and your work-related goals, or some sort of project that you've really been wanting to pursue or been fantasizing about. Maybe you've just been fantasizing about quitting your job and starting fresh, and your husband comes home and he's like, honey, I got this big bonus. That would be like the best case scenario for some of you. And so you can kind of relax a little bit or go down to part-time or something along those lines. Also, if you've been thinking about making an important investment, or you've been wanting to get investors so you can create this business you've been fantasizing about, now's a time where you can revisit that and find a way, a new and innovative way to make those dreams a reality. All right, and for Virgo rising, for you guys, you're having this new moon energy in your 7th house, which is the house of relationships. And so what have you been fantasizing about when it comes to your partnerships? Have you been fantasizing about having a new partner come in and it's really exciting and fiery and romantic? Have you been fantasizing about reigniting your passions in your current partnership? Have you been fantasizing about connecting with new people from foreign cultures or from different areas and walks of life in order to sort of make your experience more fun and more exciting? What do you want to do that you're passionate about, that you can do it in partnership with somebody that you love and care about? That's really what this energy is all about. So what have you been really daydreaming about doing with your partner or in partnership? What type of partner have you been daydreaming about manifesting into your life? Now's a time where you can revisit that energy and you can actually take some sort of action. Go out there, have some fun, get out on the town. That Mars energy in your 5th house is going to have you feeling super fired up about doing the things that you love to do and about romance and just having a good time in partnership with other people. It might even be that you've been fantasizing about just getting away and taking a really crazy trip with your partner. This would be a great time to revisit that energy and to set your goals and intentions to make that happen. All right, and for Libra rising. So for you guys, this new moon energy is happening in your 6th house of health, work, and daily routines. And so what have you been fantasizing about while you're at work? Think about when you're bored and just kind of doing your mundane tasks. What have you been daydreaming about doing instead? How can you change your day-to-day work experience to help it to become more in alignment with something that you've been fantasizing about for yourself for quite some time? Maybe on the opposite end, you've been fantasizing about having better health so you can spend more time doing the deep inner work, doing the things that you're really passionate about, or so you could spend more time at home with your family, enjoying that realm. Or maybe you've just been fantasizing about changing your work schedule or your work routines in some way, or your responsibilities at work, so it allows you to spend more time focusing on your family, focusing on your roots, focusing on those deep, intimate connections with those who are closest to you. If that's the case, now's the time to bring that vision back into your life and to figure out how you can find new ways to turn this into reality. This would be also a really great time to visualize really good health and having really good, solid health routines, and to figure out ways to actually stick it out and make it happen, because you can be obsessive about finding the right alternative solutions to create more health and wellness. And you could actually find ways to connect that psychological and physiological or psychological and emotional component to your health and healing process. And so if there's an underlying emotional issue, if there's an underlying psychological trauma or issue that has been buried beneath the surface that needs to come up for you to create that healing, now's a time where if you sit back and reflect, you might actually be able to understand better what needs to be done so you can heal yourself from the inside out first. All right. And then for Scorpio and for Scorpio rising, this new moon energy is supercharged and super wonderful in the sign of Pisces, in your 5th house, which is the house of joy. It's the house of fun. It's the house of creativity. So what have you been fantasizing about getting away and doing? What have you been fantasizing about creating in your life? What do you love to do for fun, or what did you used to love to do for fun or for play that you've lost sight of? How can you create a situation where you can reignite that energy, where you can bring it back into your life? Whatever it is that you've been fantasizing about doing that seems way more fun than what you're doing now, now's the time to revisit that, and you can really create something and bring it into reality, especially if you do it in partnership with somebody that you care about, or in connection or collaboration with other people in your community. So if you've been fantasizing about creating some sort of community organization around something that you're really passionate about, now's the time where you can find the right connections, unusual connections with other people, and collaborate with them, and to actually initiate something in your environment. If you've been thinking about just doing something new and exciting with your partner that you've been really envisioning and fantasizing about for quite some time, now's the time where you can really make this happen, and it'll be really exciting for you. And you'll find new ways to make this happen that you never would have expected or thought about before. All right. And then for Sagittarius and Sagittarius rising, now is a really great time to think back on what you've been fantasizing about when it comes to your home, your property, your family relationships. Maybe you've been fantasizing about renovating some area of your home or making an important move, but you've never had the guts to do it, or you felt like it was not possible or too idealistic. Now's the time where you can set your intentions and you can revisit those fantasies and you can make them reality. If it's been a blockage related to your work and your daily routines, where your daily habits are too mundane and too monotonous and too burdensome, you might be able to break free from some of your normal responsibilities in order to create space to do what you want in your home or with your family. Maybe you've just been fantasizing about uprooting your family and moving to a new location, or doing something new and exciting and spontaneous with your family. Now's a time where you can do that. Maybe it's that you've been wanting to, start a family and have children, and you've been fantasizing about it and you haven't been able to actually manifest it because of financial restrictions or burdens when it comes to your day-to-day life and your work, and you find the solution. You realize that you can initiate something new in this area. Maybe you've just been wanting to spend more time with your family, doing the things that you love, and your work and your financial situation have been preventing you from doing that. Now's a time where you can find new solutions, where you can break free and start to initiate something new. Maybe it's you start your own business, or you do something on the side that creates more freedom, and you realize that that actually is possible. This thing that you've been reflecting on, you've been thinking about for quite some time, you can make it happen. And so this is a really powerful week to manifest your dreams into reality, especially when it comes to what do you want to come home to after work and what's preventing you from doing that, right? You can break free from that now. All right, and then for Capricorn and Capricorn rising, for you guys, you're going to have this new moon in Pisces in your 3rd house. And so this is kind of like What have you been fantasizing about and daydreaming about, just kind of in general, on a day-to-day level? What have you been wanting to do when it comes to maybe a short distance trip or some sort of connection that deepens your integration into your community? What have you been wanting to do in terms of like some sort of additional educational pursuit that teaches you a creative yet practical skill set? Maybe you want to work with your hands. Maybe you want to learn how to paint. Maybe you've been fantasizing about writing a book or blogging or something like that. Now's a time where you can figure out how to take these things that you feel passionate about and incorporate them into your daily experience, to put them out there through some form of communication or within your community or utilizing technology. This would be a great time to find something that's really fun for you and really exciting that you love to do as a hobby or as play, that you've been fantasizing about, maybe forming a group where you can do this with other people. Now's a time where you can actually get the initiative going, where you can actually make that happen. This could also be something that you've been fantasizing about related to like early childhood education. Maybe you want to teach or do something like that where you're working with children, or maybe you've been wanting to, like one of my friends who's a Capricorn, maybe you've been wanting to get your child into the ideal school and you've been fantasizing about it, and an opportunity comes up in a weird and unexpected way, and you get to revisit that fantasy and make it reality into this month. And so this is a great time to set intentions for all of those things. All right, and then for Aquarius and Aquarius rising. So for you guys, this Pisces new moon is happening in your second house, which is the house of money, finance, material possessions. And so what have you been fantasizing about? What's your ideal future look like when it comes to your financial situation? Do you have a big savings? Do you have luxury items? Or do you just have more time to meditate and spend time in reflection and to do things that are creative or more spiritually oriented? What does that look like for you? Whatever it is that you've been fantasizing about in terms of maybe a major purchase that you want to make, or just having enough money to have more freedom, now's a time where you can find innovative new solutions where you might see that this fantasy isn't so much of a fantasy as it is a future reality that you can connect to and activate and do something with. Especially if you've been really fantasizing about making a purchase or doing something that changes things for you when it comes to your home or your family situation. And so maybe you've been daydreaming about building a beautiful, really unique new house or renovating your home. Maybe you've been daydreaming about changing up your work routines so you have enough money to just spend more time engaging with really exciting experiences with your family. Whatever it is for you, you might find that you have someone working for you behind the scenes, you have someone on your side, or that something new comes up that changes your perspective so you realize that you can actually take these dreams and make them into reality. And then finally, Pisces and Pisces rising. You guys are getting the really good vibes this week. And especially if you are a Pisces sun sign who has your birthday this weekend, this is going to be a powerful new moon energy. This is going to be a big reset where you're going to be able to manifest some of your wildest dreams into reality this year. You'll have a lot of really powerful positive endings and new beginnings, and you'll have the momentum to actually jump in, initiate, and see things through to make those changes you've been wanting to make. And so if you are a Pisces sun sign and you're going to have your solar return, I do have a more in-depth forecast just for you. Your 2+ hour sun sign solar return forecast is now available down in the link in the description below. And so you can find that there. And for all Pisces rising in as well, this is a brand new reset. Whatever it is that you want that is connected to your own personal goals and direction in life, whatever it is that you want in terms of connections especially. So who do you want to align yourself with that helps you to become more authentic and to feel supported in doing what it is that you came here to do? That's going to be part of this energy as well. Have you been thinking about forming some sort of group or organization or connecting with groups of people more, finding new, more solid friendships? Have you been fantasizing about doing some sort of group activity or connecting with a group or some sort of altruistic pursuit where you want to give back and like form a charity or form some sort of organization organization that does something really good for the world, now's a time where these dreams that once seemed impossible for you can become reality. Even if it's not related to connecting with groups of people, if there's something that you've been really envisioning for yourself and for the future that you've been fantasizing about for quite some time, it can come back around through some sort of really unusual message or communication that comes through literally just a message or a communication, or comes through a friend or through a network that you're connected to, that helps you realize that this dream, this fantasy can actually happen, and that if you set your intentions and you play your cards right, you can actually manifest this. You can create it through your own willpower, through your own volition, in ways that you didn't really see as potentials prior to this time period. And so that is the forecast for Pisces. And so this is an exciting week. I love this new moon. I think it's going to be a positive energy that's going to really help us to align with a lot of the things that we've been really feeling and dreaming about and envisioning, and we can actually do it, right? It's like it shows us, this new moon shows us what's possible. And so I love it. I think this is going to be a really powerful weekend in particular, because this new moon is actually on Sunday, but it's a great energy. So enjoy it, you guys. And if you liked this video, be sure to like it, subscribe to my channel, because I do post a new weekly video forecast every Sunday at 9 a.m. Mountain Time, and share this video with your friends if you feel like they might benefit from this insight and information. All right, so thank you guys so much, and I will see you all